Aesop's Fable EP59, The Bear Who Divided the Honey. Scene 1, The Honey Harvest. In a lush forest filled with towering trees and fragrant flowers, there lived a wise and caring mother bear named Bella. Bella was known for her kindness and her ability to find the sweetest honey in the entire forest. Every year, as autumn approached, Bella would gather honey to store for the winter. This year, however, was special because Bella's 3 cubs, Benny, Bonnie, and Bella Jr., were old enough to enjoy the honey she had collected. One crisp autumn morning, Bella returned to her den with a large jar of golden honey. The cubs' eyes lit up with excitement when they saw their mother return with the delicious treat. "Mama, can we have some honey?" Benny asked eagerly. "Of course, my dears," Bella replied with a warm smile. "But we must make sure to share it equally so that everyone gets the same amount." Bella knew that she needed to divide the honey into equal parts for her 3 cubs. But she also knew that dividing the honey equally would require some careful thinking, especially because honey wasn't easy to measure precisely. Scene 2, The Division of Fractions. Bella sat down with the jar of honey and thought about how to divide it fairly. She had collected 3 full jars of honey in total, but she wanted to give each cub an equal share of just 1 jar to start. "How can I divide 1 jar of honey equally among the 3 of you?" Bella asked her cubs. Bonnie, who was always curious about numbers, suggested, "Why don't we divide the jar into 3 equal parts, Mama? Then each of us can have 1 part." Bella nodded, pleased with Bonnie's idea. "That's exactly right, Bonnie," she said. "We need to divide the honey into thirds so that each of you gets 1/3 of the jar." Bella carefully poured the honey into a large bowl and divided it into 3 equal portions. She explained to her cubs, "This means that each of you will get 1/3 of the honey in this jar. A third is a fraction, and when we divide something into fractions, each part is equal." The cubs watched as their mother divided the honey, and they were amazed at how she managed to make each portion the same. They each received 1/3 of the honey, and they were all delighted with their sweet treat. Scene 3, The Challenge of Sharing More. After enjoying their honey, the cubs still had more questions about how fractions worked. "Mama," Benny asked, "what if we wanted to share more honey with our friends? How would we divide it?" Bella thought for a moment and then smiled. "Let's say we want to share 2 more jars of honey with 6 friends. We'll need to figure out how to divide those 2 jars into smaller fractions so that everyone gets an equal share." The cubs listened intently as Bella continued, "If we have 2 jars of honey and we want to share them with 6 friends, we can divide each jar into 6 equal parts, which would give us 2/6, or 1/3 of a jar, for each friend." Bella carefully demonstrated by dividing the 2 jars of honey into 6 equal parts. She explained, "When we divide something into 6ths, each part is smaller than a third, but when we have 2 jars, we still give each friend 1/3 of a jar." The cubs were fascinated by how fractions worked and how their mother was able to divide the honey so that everyone got the same amount, no matter how many people they shared it with. Scene 4, The Lesson of Fairness. As the day drew to a close, Bella and her cubs sat together, enjoying the honey and reflecting on what they had learned. "You see, my dear cubs," Bella said, "fractions are a way to make sure that everyone gets an equal share, no matter how many people there are. By dividing things into parts, we can share with fairness and kindness." The cubs nodded, understanding the importance of fairness in sharing. They realized that math, especially fractions, was not just about numbers but also about making sure everyone was treated equally. From that day on, whenever the cubs had something to share, They used the lessons they had learned about fractions to make sure everyone got an equal share. They knew that their mother had taught them not only about math, but also about the importance of fairness and kindness in everything they did. The story of the bear who divided the honey was told throughout the forest, and the other animals admired Bella for her wisdom and her ability to teach her cubs the value of sharing. The cubs grew up understanding that fractions were a helpful tool for ensuring that everyone was treated fairly, and they passed this knowledge on to their friends. Moral of the story: dividing things into fractions helps us share fairly and equally. By using math, we can ensure that everyone gets their fair share and that kindness and fairness are always part of what we do.